Now let's talk about refreshing group policy. So we've gone out there and we've created a group policy object and we've linked it, and then we go make some edits to it. The first thing you need to understand is that group policy, once you have created that object and you've linked it and it's enabled, the group policy is going to be applied automatically whenever the user logs on or the computer starts up. But what happens with those things that we change? Well, group policy is still applied automatically, and for computer configuration settings, then these things get applied when the computer starts up. Now, every 90 to 120 minutes, there is a group policy refresh that happens, and anything that has changed gets updated. So the answer to the question is, when will group policy refresh after I make changes? Either when the computer starts up, or if the computer stays up long enough, about every 90 to 120 minutes. Now the reason we say 90 to 120 is group policy is set to refresh every 90 minutes. But once that 90 minutes gets there, every individual policy basically chooses a random time between 1 and 30 minutes, or 0 and 30 minutes. So it could be as fast as 90 minutes or as long as 120 minutes. You can change that. We won't go into that here. But you can change that on a policy by policy basis. And what we're trying to do there is prevent every policy out there from refreshing all at the same time. Now on the user side, at logon, so whenever the user logs on, they will get the new settings. So if you make a change and they log off and log back on, they will get the new settings. Otherwise, same deal, every 90 to 120 minutes. But keep in mind, there are some group policy settings that will require a restart on the computer before they happen, no matter what. They're just that way, okay? And I won't go into a list, but just keep in mind that's kind of the bottom line on the way it is. Now, let's say you're working in group policy and you've made some changes and you want to test and make sure that you did everything right, but you don't want to wait 90 to 120 minutes to see if they worked. You can manually refresh group policy. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to execute the gp update command. And you can do start run and type gp update, and for your domain it's going to basically force a refresh, and it will begin a background refresh. Now it may go right away, it may take it just a couple of seconds, but one thing that's going to happen is only the settings that you changed get applied. Now this is something that's happened, I can't remember what version of group policy or what version of server this was changed in, but only the settings that you changed get applied. Both of the computer and the user is refreshed, so all new settings get applied. If you want to target one individual user or an individual computer, you can use the / target switch and just put : the name of the computer or : the name of the user to specify. And of course it'll have to be able to find those computer names or usernames in Active Directory or it'll throw you an error. Now if you put the / force out there, it will cause all GPO settings to be reapplied. That means even the ones that didn't change. Now from time to time, depending on how complex your group policy structure is, to get a true feeling for what happened on the refresh, you want to refresh everything, and you can use the force switch. Log off and boot will cause a log off or reboot because, again, there are those limited situations out there where you won't get a true picture of the new group policy settings until you've done a reboot or a log off for the user, so keep that in mind. Now, this is an exam alert right here. In Windows 2000, SEC Edit was the manual update. You had to do SEC Edit and / refresh, I think it was, or refresh policy. But keep in mind, you don't do that anymore. You use GP Update. And this may throw you on the exam because a lot of times it seems like the less logical ideas are the ones that tend to get done the most. But in this instance, GP Update is what you use. So just make sure you're aware of that. You will get asked that question on the exam. Know about GP Update. Know about a few of those switches so that you can tailor your answer to the question that they're asking. Okay, watch for SEC Edit. You don't do that in Windows Server 2008. Okay, but that's how you're going to refresh group policy. Just keep those things in mind, especially when you sit down to take the exam, because again, you will see questions about refreshing group policy.